Good afternoon, dear students. Here we are going to study thin layer chromatography. Now, we have already earlier studied separation of amino acids by paper chromatography. Now, today we are going to discuss about separation of amino acids by thin layer chromatography. Uh, the way in which we prepare the sample in paper chromatography, in the same manner we prepare the sample in thin layer chromatography also. We take various amino acids, okay, dissolve them in using proper solvents, right? We can also take mixture of unknown mixture containing say n number of or multiple number of sample components, and then proceed. Now let us first discuss what is thin layer chromatography. Now thin layer chromatography, in short, which is called as TLC, is an extremely valuable analytical technique especially used in organic laboratories. Okay. Now this method provides you rapid separation of compounds, even more rapid than paper chromatography. So this method gives you rapid separation of components, thereby gives an indication of number of components present in a mixture and nature of components present in the mixture. Now, thin layer chromatography is used to identify compounds by comparison with known samples. Okay, we can compare the we can identify the unknown compound by comparison with the known sample. We can check the purity of a compound, we can monitor the progress of a reaction, or and we can go for an extraction procedure using the thin layer chromatography, or even purification of certain components. Purification of compounds can be done by thin layer chromatography. Now, this technique is normally done on a small glass plate or a plastic plate, which is coated with a thin layer of, you can say, stationary phase, which is a solid. Most of the time, the solid or the stationary phase that is used is either silica gel or alumina. So we prepare a slurry of alumina or silica gel and prepare a thin layer on the surface of a glass plate or a plastic plate. Nowadays, ready-made foil plates are also available, which are readily already coated with the thin layer of alumina or silica, whatever you want, and that can be directly used for separation of components present in a mixture. So whether it is silica or alumina, they behave as stationary phase. The mobile phase here is usually an organic solvent or generally a mixture of organic solvent. Now, the sample or the mixture of the sample, or you can say the sample, is applied near the bottom of the plate. Same as in paper chromatography, we draw a thin line without actually damaging the thin layer of stationary phase on the plate. Okay, the sample is applied toward near the bottom of the plate as a spot, or especially if you want to separate plant pigments, it can be applied in the form of a thin line. So the sample is either spotted near the bottom or it is applied in the form of a thin line, and then the plate is placed in a jar containing a definite volume of the solvent, and you close the lid of the jar. Take care that the sample should not be dipped inside the solvent. Now here we perform ascending type of chromatography. Solvent will rise towards the top of the plate, and while doing so, it will separate the components present in the mixture. The solvent climbs up the plate by capillary action, carrying the sample mixture along with it. Each compound in the mixture moves at a different rate. Now, various components are present in the mixture. They will move up along with the solvent at different rate. How? Why? Because it depends upon the solubility of the component in the mixture. Okay, depending upon the solubility of the component in the mobile phase and the strength of its absorption to the stationary phase. So the more it interacts with the mobile phase, a farther distance it will travel, and if it interacts more with the stationary phase, it will travel a lesser distance, right? Now, when the solvent reaches near the top of the plate, you have to remove the plate. You stop the process. That means remove the plate. Allow the solvent to evaporate. The solvent will evaporate, leaving behind the components of the mixture on the glass plate or on the foil plate or the plastic plate at various distance from the point of origin. And then we spray some developing reagent, because most of the time the components of the mixture are not colored, and we want to check what distance the component of the mixture has traveled. For that, you have to spray a developing compound. and then you get colored spots. Then we find out the RF value of each component. What is RF value? It is the ratio of distance traveled by the compound divided by distance traveled by the solvent. Okay, so it is a ratio of distance the compound moves to the distance the solvent moves. So that is called as retardation factor or retention factor. The RF value is characteristic for a particular compound as well as the stationary phase of the solvent. Depending upon the RF value also, you will be able to identify the unknown compound by comparing it with the standards. So now let us learn what is the principle. Okay. Now, similar to other chromatographic technique that we have studied, only one, that is paper chromatography. Thin layer chromatography is also based on the principle of separation. Now, the separation of components in a mixture depends upon relative affinity of the compound towards either stationary or mobile phase. Right? Now, the compound under the influence of mobile phase, as I said earlier in this presentation, that the solvent rises, okay, by in an ascending manner towards the top of the plate by capillary action, and the components of the mixture are carried by the mobile phase um, towards the top. Okay, so the mobile phase travels over the surface of the stationary phase. During this phase, the compounds with higher affinity to stationary phase, the compounds which have more affinity towards stationary phase, they will travel very slowly, while the components which have more affinity towards mobile phase will travel faster. Thus, the separation of components present in a mixture is achieved depending upon their relative affinity either towards the stationary or the mobile phase. Now, once the separation process is over, the individual components are visualized as spots or as lines if you have applied the sample in the form of a line. So, the individual components are visualized as spots at respective level of travel on the plate. The nature of the compound or character are identified by means of suitable detection technique. You can also quantify the amount of separated component, okay, by extracting that component out from the stationary phase. Now, if you go for the general experimental procedure, what we have to do is take a coating material, like you can select depending upon the you can say components which you want to separate. Depending upon the components present in the mixture which you need to separate, you can either take alumina or silica gel G depending upon the compound to be separated. That slurry of that material is prepared and it is coated on the surface of the glass plate or plastic plate. So coating materials are coated, okay, and a thin layer, preparation of thin layer on the plates. So you prepare thin layer on the plate, okay. Then activation of adsorbent. So this is an adsorbent, okay. So we have to actually activate the plates many a time, maybe by heating, okay, or by adding certain chemicals. Then once the plate is dried, the coating material has dried, you apply the sample. After sample application and after it has dried up, you place the plate in the tank containing the solvent, that is called as development tank, which contains the solvent system, and then the sample components will move along with the solvent. And once the procedure is over, take out the plate, allow the solvent to evaporate, and then go for plate development. For plate development of a detection of compounds, we have to spray certain developing reagents and then evaluate the chromatogram. Chromatogram is the one showing you colored spot at different levels. You can calculate the RF value, compare it with the standard, and find out what is the unknown component present in the mixture. Okay. Now, if you want to separate components, if they are, what is the nature of the component that is to be separated? Whether it is acidic, neutral, basic, whatever. Okay. Depending on that, adsorbents can be used. As I said, silica gel can be used, alumina gel can be used, cellulose powder can be used. They are actually available commercially. Then we prepare a slurry. Okay. Then pour we have pre-coated plates or we have to pour it on the plate and then dip it in so, tank containing solvent or a beaker containing solvent, allow the plate to develop, then spray the developing reagent and identify the compounds. So you can see here in the diagram, first the slide showing a slurry is being slurry is prepared and it is being poured on the surface of the plate. Okay, number 2. Number 3, okay, uniformly allow the slurry to spread on the surface of the glass plate, and now allow the plate to dry. Once the slurry has dried, your thin layer is ready, and then sample application can be done. So we can use slides. Sometimes if your slide is bigger, or if you're using a big glass plate, you have an applicator. The applicator is filled with the slurry, and the applicator is moved from one end of the glass plate to another end, so that the slurry is poured on the surface of the large plate and a thin layer of you can say stationary phase or adsorbing material can be formed. And this figure is showing the tank with the slide cover glass slab, right? Now, so the sample is applied on thin layer chromatography plate with the help of a capillary tube. Also, you can apply, okay, or you can apply with the help of micropipettes, right? So first thing is preparing the slurry of the stationary phase or the adsorbing material, pouring it on the plate, allow the plate to dry, and a thin layer plate is ready. Now to apply the sample with the help of a capillary tube or with the help of a micropipette tip, right? After applying the sample in the form of a spot or a line, it is allowed to dry. You can apply the sample twice also. Then, once the sample has dried, the TLC plate is put in the chromatography jar and cover the jar with the lid. Okay, the system is allowed to be static until solvent moves to a proper distance from the baseline. As the sample has reached almost the top of the plate, okay, when the sample reaches almost the top, remove the plate. Okay, mark the distance the solvent has traveled, okay, with the help of a very fine pencil, and then allow the solvent to evaporate. Then you can calculate RF values. TLC plates are taken out, then dried. Okay, so this is the TLC plate placed in the chamber, right? Covered. Let the things develop or move. Don't let the solvent run off. Okay, don't let it run off the top portion. Otherwise, your sample components may be lost. All right. Put it out. Okay, once your chromatography procedure is over, take out the thin layer plate, okay, before it evaporates. Mark the spots before the solvent evaporates. As I told you, mark the distance the solvent has traveled, and mark the position of the solute is already marked in the beginning where you apply the solute, that means the sample. So these marks are necessary to calculate the RF values. Now, if you are separating amino acids, right, so you will take the sample is your amino acid, which is to be dissolved in a proper solvent, right, and apply it in the form of spot. Allow the chromatogram to run. Allow the chromatographic run to proceed. All right. Your sample at times may be plant pigment. Your sample may be amino acid. It may be sugars, whatever. Right. Now, suppose we are carrying out separation of amino acids by thin layer chromatography. Then the sample components must have separated, but they are colorless. So you want to check what is the position or where is the what distance the components of the mixture have traveled. For that, we need to spray with the help of a developing reagent. Okay, so spraying reagent is ninhydrin in acetone. If you want to check amino acid, separated amino acid, you prepare ninhydrin in acetone and spray. So the lower one is showing separation of amino acids by thin layer chromatography. So after spraying ninhydrin, almost all the amino acid will form violet purple spot. Only one amino acid forms yellow spot, and that you know. Okay, then we can separate alkaloids, cardiac glycosides, etc. Right now, but sometimes the sample components which are separating are already colored. Like if you are separating plant pigments, okay. So separation of plant components, you can take the plant leaves like croton leaves or you can spinach leaves, crush them in acetone. And then carry out the solvent system differs, but if you want to separate amino acid, the solvent system used for separation of the component will be different. If you want to separate plant pigments, it will be different. But plant pigments, because they are already colored, you do not need any developing reagent. As the solvent travels up the plate, the sample components will get separated and they already have colors, like you can see. So the lower one is showing the spinach one, solvent front, okay. Then beta carotene, the yellow one, the one which has traveled a greater distance. We have chlorophyll B, chlorophyll A, okay, pheophytins, carotenes, xanthophylls. Okay, in this plate, They are xanthophylls, chlorophyll A, then B, then xanthophylls, right? So depending upon the components of colored pigments present in the particular plant leaf, you will get the colored spots. This is how thin layer chromatography is performed for the separation of either plant pigments or amino acids. So we will stop here.